quality of our accommodation, and the experiences that we offer. They're exclusive comparative to some of our neighbours. If you go to our parks here, you're not going to be lined up with 20 other vehicles to look at lion or another amazing sighting that our incredible guides have found. So the vast majority of our tourism in this country is based around our natural resources. Dr. Kaseke told us earlier we should have a vision, a long-term and a vivid description. ZTA's destination marketing vision to be known as a unique and attractive tourist destination. And we are sitting right now on the point of amazing positive change, the opportunity to have a huge impact and go forward positively in our tourism industry. But we also, and I'm being honest here, we can't ignore things that are happening right here, right now within our country, and the issues that are affecting our natural resources. Our natural resources have been under threat and are still under threat. Countrywide, we have problems. We have illegal gold panning, tree cutting, charcoal making, which is frightening in the way it's on the increase. If we continue charcoal making in this country, we'll end up like our neighbour, where trees to be seen in the area are hard to find. We do not want to go there. Poaching, exporting our wildlife. These are all negatives that are happening and we can't ignore it. There are areas in our country that are almost decimated by these issues. And these are our areas that we are wanting our tourists to come and see. If we don't get the basics right, if we don't get our house in order, what will we have to offer as a destination? How do we develop a national strategy for tourism if our core base for tourism is not protected and secured for the future? And I concur with Dr. Kaseke. Of course, there is a need for strong and decisive leadership. Our natural resources fall under the Ministry of Environment, Water and Climate. So I ask the question, how do we formulate a meaningful national tourism strategic plan and strategy if the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Environment are not working together? Tourism and Environment was a joint ministry, and this did prove to be successful. So in closing, I would say in connecting tourism to our natural and cultural resources, it is critical that the relevant ministries are working together. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, for reassuring the importance of protecting our environment. Because it is this environment that is the basis for our tourism. Now let's again talk about sustainable. Now, sustainable waste management as a source of destination competitiveness. Let's allow C. Howard to discuss that briefly again.
Thank you very much. Well, it's great to see all you, and especially the young faces. I think the youth are our future, so it's wonderful to see a lot of youth here today, and I think it will be important to hear from them. I'd like to say, to start off, I am proud to be Zimbabwean. I think we've got the best country in the world, we've got the best people in the world, and we've got the best wildlife and our natural resources in the world. 30 years I've committed to conservation, to environment in our country. And I really want to concur with Veronica when she says that the Ministry of Environment is critical to the strategic plan of tourism. I'd be bold to say that the two should actually be one. We should have the Ministry of Environment and the Ministry of Tourism as one ministry moving forward, because only then will we achieve what we want to achieve as Zimbabwe. So let's go to waste management. Wow, it's a big thing. How many of us throw our marara out the window? How many of us pollute the very environment that we need to survive? I'd like to just talk about some positives that are happening. We've got members in Victoria Falls, Wangi, that are green tourism members. and they are doing some amazing stuff. They've started separating the waste. Unfortunately, this waste then ends up all on the dump site. We talk about PPPs, private-public partnerships. Why aren't we talking about PPCPs, private-public community partnerships? Where are we bringing communities into the picture when we're talking about tourism, when we're talking about development, when we're talking about waste management? I'm excited to say that there's a wonderful project to be launched in March this year in association with Safari Lodge, with the council, with Greenline Africa Trust, with the community, and it's really talking about PPCPs, private-public community partnerships, establishing a recycling centre that will take the waste and turn some of this waste into recyclable products, and also will go for recycling, linking up with industries in Harare and in South Africa. And I think this is a great model that could be replicated throughout the world, and especially here in Zimbabwe. A lot of people, when they visit Zimbabwe, tourists often ask the question, are you recycling? Isn't it going to be great to turn to them and say, yes, we are. Come on, come and have a look at what is happening on the ground. We need to also push for plastic. I see these wonderful plastic bottles. It really gets to me when we have beautiful clean water here in Victoria Falls. So we need to really get tourism and tourists into the flow of not always wanting water in a plastic bottle. The Victoria Falls Hotel is a great example of how they actually have a whole section where they clean their own water. And I think that is great, and why aren't many more of us doing that? Zimbabweans have heart, but I want to go back to what Veronica says, is that there is a lot of corruption still, there is a lot of destruction still, and if we, as Zimbabweans, don't take and make a stand, how can we sell our beautiful country to the tourists out there? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation, which also shows how we can make our destination a destination of choice by keeping it clean and making sure that we recycle our waste so that we make our destination clean. We are actually focusing on destination management and product development. I'm sure from the presentation that we had, we appreciate what we need to do to make our destination a destination of choice. Now, let me put Nigel on the spot. I know Dr. Kaseke said we are not coming up with a vision now, we are collecting information. May I put Nigel on the spot? What do you think should be our tourism vision as a sector?
I think vision comes with wisdom, in my mind. So it's a matter of what do you see as your future asset as a country. And I think part of that vision you have, or we spoke about already, it's about an inclusive community, inclusive country, collaborative country and efforts. The vision needs to be set. Your vision needs to be what I've said in my presentation. We are the best. And I think, as I said, you already have the elements that need to be put together to be that best. So I think it's really about collaboration and using what you have to get to that point.
Can I add a heavier burden? What do you think could be our values and our strategic objectives as a sector in Zimbabwe?
Values and strategic objectives. Strategic objectives is about taking everything you have and putting it together into a mix that works. Your strategic objective should be to be doing exactly what we're doing here today. Is to be looking at what everyone has and the knowledge and the what everyone has to offer, to be able to put it into that experience. Okay, what was the first part of your question? Strategic objectives and? Value. Our values is simple, excellence. For me, excellence, you're doing it already, as I said. Inclusivity, care. Care for the environment, care for your people. Yeah, I can't tell you what your values should be, but I think you're already demonstrating a lot of the positive values that is going to be able to put together that vision. I just want to say one thing, if you allow me. There's been a lot of issue or a lot of comments around pricing. An expensive product doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good product. So I think part of your strategic vision and my point on competitiveness in my presentation needs to look at that very clearly. As an example, yesterday I was told that at least 40% of Zimbabwean citizens haven't been to Victoria Falls. What a pity. So little things like that need to be part of your strategy, an imperative part of your strategy, pricing, people, place, location. So that's my comment on it.
Ladies, you have heard what Nadia suggested as part of our vision, value, and strategy. What's your comment on her sentiment?
I think, first of all, we've got a great opportunity in Zimbabwe of coming together as Zimbabweans and really promoting our country out there. However, I will still go back to the point is that we need the base. We need our natural resources. We can create the best vision for tourism, for the Ministry of Tourism, but if we don't have the very thing that brings tourists here, there's going to be no use for a vision. So really, I believe that the ZTA, Ministry of Tourism, have to go back to the drawing board. We have to seriously talk with the Ministry of Environment, and whether the two ministries come together as one, which I still believe is the best way forward, we need to take this seriously. We need to take this to the highest levels of Zimbabwe, because only then will we be able to promote our tourism and our country as one. Thank you.
Veronique?
Following on what Charlene has just said, obviously I would agree with that. And the other area that I would say we also really do need to look at, and we've talked about it through the workshops as they've come through Harare, Bulawayo, etc., is accessibility of our country's assets to the local people. And I also believe by making, by having more local people, like Mvashi said, there are many people living here that have never seen even the Victoria Falls. If our own people, starting from our children, are not seeing what we have and the value we have in this country, how can we move forward and develop it and have it for the future generations? Our local Zimbabweans also need access to what we have here, and to have, they will then get a greater appreciation for what we have and will want to protect what we have. We will all become activists for our country.
Whereas we're saying sustainable and also domestic tourism, we need to really promote that. I know Mr. Jidze emphasized the issue of time, but now I think I've got about 5 minutes, which will allow you audience to share what you think should be included in our strategy, and also if you have a few questions. The gentleman here.
Thank you. I did introduce myself earlier. My name is Robin Brown. I think some of the points made there about the of the Ministry of Environment and the Ministry of Tourism, as Charlie has quite rightly pointed out, that is a very, very critical issue. Our tourism in this country relies virtually entirely on international visitors coming here to enjoy our natural asset. And if we don't put at the forefront of our objectives the preservation of those assets, we're actually just on a dismal downward spiral. And leading on from that, I know we have some representatives here from parks, am I right? National parks. Can I ask What level in parks are here? Are we from head office? Is anyone here from head office? So I mean, if we trying to have a stakeholder meeting and have decision makers from the Department of National Parks, already we're starting on the back foot because the two are so closely linked, and without firm buy-in from National Parks and from the Ministry of Environment, we're actually just going nowhere. Thank you.
There's the end of the back.
Well, my name is and I liked it when I read Zimbabwe's ZTA is taking measures on Airbnb, requesting them to register. Me being in tourism, I'm a product of Airbnb. I started Airbnb in 2014, and that's how I paid my varsity fees, right? So, when I read that, I went to the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority.net website. Under requirements, what is required for them to register? There's a bank account, a liability insurance, minimum 5,000. Brochure, certificate of incorporation, CR40, and balance sheet, and all those things, right? I did this when I was in university. I was working to raise $600 this semester. And the requirements to start with is 5,000. I don't see how many people are going to manage. But anyway, I stopped Airbnb and I then started my own startup. So my question is, what is the ZTA doing to actually score goals against Airbnb rather than just clipping them to score few goals?
I think this question has just been noted. I'm sure that's a ZTA question. It's, as we have been advised that some of these points mentioning that are being noted need to be captured. Mr. Chanakiro?
Thank you, moderator. My name is Nigel Chanakira, as indicated. I think we should use what we have. You know, the issue that Nigel raised on the Airbnb, for example. The reality is for us to become competitive, we don't have the resources. Let's not kid ourselves. And yet we've got a lot of housing stock in Zimbabwe. And I would like to say good houses at that. If a tourist does come, and because we are the good people that we say we are, we can accommodate them, but they're bound to spend money. And I would rather they spend that money here than elsewhere. So I think there should be a positive move to embrace the Airbnb and also to lower those charges in order to actually accommodate more people. I think Victoria Falls can flourish in that direction if we allow the local community to then harness resources from a digital strategy. Going on, I think we mentioned earlier on that digital strategy, and Sophie's numbers, you know, to me, again indicate that we're not utilizing what we have. We've got to work with what's in our hands. Our people, I believe, are educated. Our people can easily integrate into the digital world and society. And so I believe by pushing a domestic tourism strategy and allowing us to then be able to tweet Zim, whatever, hashtag Zim Wonders, call it what it may be, on an international branding perspective, is what's actually going to bring the traffic here. So let's use our people. We are the best, as Charlie says. We are hospitable. We are friendly. We are educated. We are digitally savvy. And on that note, while we claim to be digitally savvy, can we use that hashtag and contribute, you know, our ideas and actually get people to know that we're doing something about Zimbabwe? And all of us, we owe it to ourselves to do something about that right now and today. So as I speak, please be tweeting, going on Facebook, and telling people how wonderful we are and how wonderful we will be in terms of what we're actually strategizing. I thank you.
Thank you very much. I think some of you said, I think the 5 success factors which Nairobi spoke about, you have just summed them up, and with those, we are endowed with those. So in other words, it's how we utilize them to achieve where we want to go. Mr. Justice was already looking at his time. I would have loved to entertain more questions, more comments, but like you already been advised, we are live. So your phones here, Mr. Moyo will confirm, Wi-Fi is free. So you can actually be posting your updates and all the information that we have. I'd like to thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. This was quite an interesting session, and I know we possibly need to call a comfort break. According to our program, it's supposed to be a tea break now. So let's make it very short. I've noticed Adrian and his team have set up several points for refreshments. So if we could just quickly go grab a cup of tea, coffee, and quickly down it and come back in 10 minutes. I think that would help us. And then we take ourselves into the next session where Dr. Runyowa, I'm saying doctor because I know it's in the coffee, Mr. Runyowa will take us through the next session. Thank you very much. So let's please relax for 10 minutes.
I